Well, viewers, first up now, the election season might be drawing to a close, but there's no end to the political drama, controversies and the slugfest. It's been a long, intense election season, and as much like the diverse ideologies, different netas have had different ways of cooling their heels. Well, some of the netas choose to fly abroad. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has decided to take a meditation break, and this is happening in Kanyakumari after the campaigning for the last phase that has ended. While he visited the holy Kedarnath shrine dressed in a saffron robe after the 2019 elections, the Prime Minister will now be at the famous Rock Memorial in Kanyakumari and will meditate at the Dhyan Mandapam. This is from the 30th of May to the 1st of June. This is going to be a 48-hour long meditation, and it will be at the same spot where Swami Vivekananda is believed to have meditated after traversing the entire nation. This is where he is said to have even had the vision of a developed Bharat. And looks like Prime Minister Modi is gunning for his own Viksit Bharat moment here. Now, well, some may call this iconic, some others may call it symbolic. But the opposition says this is mere drama. The Congress also is saying that the Prime Minister is starting his retirement live from the same place where Rahul started his Bharat Jodo Yatra. Meanwhile, there's RJD. They go a step ahead. They've advised the Prime Minister to try a camera-free meditation if possible. But the big question here, viewers, why is the opposition so triggered over Prime Minister Modi's personal visit? Is this another heartburn over Modi stealing the limelight, or do they actually have a point behind all of the mockery? The big problem, the opposition says, is that the meditation coincides with the last day of polling, which is on the 1st of June. Given the kind of attention any event of the Prime Minister gets, the opposition is worried that the event's coverage during elections will act as a surrogate campaigning even during the silence period. In fact, a Congress delegation has approached the Election Commission over the matter as well. Congress says that the event violates the Model Code of Conduct as it could influence voters if there is media coverage. Meanwhile, Tamil Nadu Congress also said that the Prime Minister's visit will even inconvenience tourists, as the security will be very high in the town and the operation of tourist boats will also be cancelled for 3 total days. Let's listen into these reactions.
कि किसी परोक्ष रूप से साइलेंस पीरियड में जो चुप्पी रहने का समय होता है 48 घंटे चुनाव के पहले, उसमें कोई भी नहीं, चाहे कितना बड़ा लीडर हो, वो किसी रूप से, सीधे रूप से या परोक्ष रूप से कैंपेनिंग नहीं कर सकता। हमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं है, कोई व्यक्ति, कोई लीडर कुछ भी करे, मौन व्रत रखे या कैंपेन करे, लेकिन वो साइलेंस पीरियड में इनडायरेक्ट कैंपेनिंग नहीं होनी चाहिए।
आप क्या है बोलिए, आप क्या कमें? आप तो आज ऐसे हैं, घंटे को एक जैकेट चेंज करते, 1 घंटे को एक शर्ट चेंज करते हो, जहां गए वहां का बेस लगाते हो, जहां गए वहां का गमछा पहन लेके वोट के लिए दिखावा करते हैं। हम वैसे नहीं, हम जैसे हैं वैसे ही है।
Dharma, worship, all it is their personal faith. I don't want to interfere and comment on it. If something good for him, if you want to have peace, if you want to gain something more power, let him do it. Why should we interfere in his personal faith and wisdom? I don't want to interfere.
Meanwhile, BJP netas are mocking the Congress's interest in Prime Minister Modi's visits.
I'm so surprised that the opposition has a lot of interest on chasing what Narendra Modi ji bhai is doing. कभी उनके चाय पे इनको दिक्कत होती है, कभी इनकी मेडिटेशन पे दिक्कत होती है, कभी इनकी वास्कोड पर इनको दिक्कत होती है, तो कभी इनका श्री कृष्ण भगवान को जप करने जब पानी के अंदर जाते हैं तो दिक्कत होती है, कभी इनका अयोध्या जाने से दिक्कत होती है। किस किस से दिक्कत नहीं है इनको बताइए। इनको दिक्कत होना चाहिए इनके डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम से। अगर इनके डेवलपमेंटल प्रोग्राम से कोई प्रॉब्लम है, बैठो आप उस मुद्दे पे बात करो। आप they have no stance, or I would say they have no strength on talking about how would they take this country forward on the name of development.
Right, now my colleague Varshini is joining me live on the broadcast. Varshini, politics aside, take us through the latest in terms of the Prime Minister's visit. When is he expected to arrive? What are the places he'll be visiting?
Well, Deepak, if you see, the Prime Minister will be arriving at Kanyakumari tomorrow in the evening, and he will be landing at Trivandrum Airport, and from there he will be taking a helicopter to come to Kanyakumari. And after he reaches Kanyakumari, he will be staying the night there. And on 31st of May, in the morning, he is expected to visit the Vivekananda Rock Memorial, which is actually inside the waters. So therefore, one can reach the Vivekananda Rock Memorial only through a boat. Therefore, the Prime Minister will be reaching the Rock Memorial, and he will be starting his tapasya, is what we are expected. This tapasya is also likely to continue till the 1st of June. Therefore, the tapasya is expected to happen in two mandapams that is situated in the memorial, and therefore the tapasya is expected to go on till June 1st. And after that, around 3:30 in the evening on 1st of June, the Prime Minister will be leaving Kanyakumari and going back to Trivandrum, where he will take a flight to go to Delhi, and that is the plan that we have been informed about as of now from the local sources, that we are able to get this information. But apart from that, there is very high security that has already been deployed in the city of Kanyakumari, and the local police as well as the police and other commandos have already been they are already staying in Kanyakumari, and all the inspection was happening today, like we can see from the visuals. There were police force, marine police, everybody were on force trying to make sure that there is no security lapse or security threat that is going to arise when the Prime Minister arrives. Therefore, tomorrow it is going to go under the control of the Prime Minister's SPG security, is also what we are able to understand from this given point of time, Deepak.
Right, Varshini, thank you for that quick update. We'll keep coming back to you as well. A lot of political developments expected, even as the Prime Minister is all set to visit tomorrow, as my colleague was pointing out. Madhuvanti Arun of the BJP is with us today to talk more about this. Dr. Syed Hafiz, spokesperson of the DMK, Dr. Pooja Tripathi, spokesperson of the Congress, Dr. Suman C. Raman, political analyst, as well, joining us today on the broadcast. Right now, I'll take this across straight to Dr. Syed Hafiz, because I believe that the DMK at this point in time, along with the Congress, even the TMC, are all alleging that this is a violation of Model Code of Conduct. Dr. Syed Hafiz.
Yeah, as you know, the opposition has been defining NCC as Modi Code of Conduct, where he sets his own rules, and the Election Commission is not impartial to the entire conduct. So that is what we believe in, because Election Commission, when there are communal speeches made by the Prime Minister in an unprecedented move, instead of addressing that particular issue to the campaigner, it gives a letter to the party headquarters, which was totally unprecedented. So we know how the Election Commission has conducted, how Model Code of Conduct has been violated several times by the BJP. You know, prayers, belief, faith, all this meditation is completely a matter of personal affair. I go to prayer, I believe many in the panel will go to the prayer, but nobody makes a big event out of it. Nobody takes a selfie. Nobody makes it a 2 days gala PR event, just like Prime Minister did in 2019. So it has become habitual of the Prime Minister to keep bringing in matter of personal affairs into politics and try to garner votes indirectly. That is the problem we have. We have no problem with the Prime Minister, and we should ask Prime Minister, why is this meditation happening only in the eve of the last day of election? From Rishikesh to this time, it is a silent campaigning that the Prime Minister involving himself into, irrespective of whichever party is doing it. You know, you cannot compromise on the institution and constitutional and democratic values which the Prime Minister is indulging himself into.
Okay.
You know, when it comes to going meeting your mother, I meet my mother, but I don't take my camera. You know, I go to prayer, I don't take camera. The camera team is already there. They go set where Prime Minister will be sitting, from which angle will take, till what time the live will go. So all this is the problem, which are the silent campaigning on the last day of election, is an absolute violation of the MCC. So that is our problem. You know what is a bigger responsibility the Prime Minister has today rather than going and meditation is he has time to condole for people who are dying in Papua New Guinea. But you know, in his own state, Rajkot,
Okay,
because of the sheer failure of this administration.
Dr. Hafiz, and also I would also ask Dr. Pooja Tripathi here. Both of you are alleging that this is a violation of Model Code of Conduct. Now, on the other hand, the BJP, of course, has been saying that this is not a word being spoken, nothing about the election. This is the Prime Minister taking a break after a rigorous campaign of a couple of months and counting. So what's wrong if he wants to take a break? And as far as coverage is concerned, this is because he has that sort of a persona and there's coverage that's happening. How do you relate to this? And the election is the question that keeps coming up. And in 2019, it happened, you know, there was... The EC didn't find it as a violation in all likelihood. Here, once again, it's going to continue. So what really stops the Congress leaders if they think that this is a way that they can actually reach out to the voters in the last 24 hours? You have, you know, tall leaders in the opposition as well. You know, probably if you think that this is a PR stunt, nothing is stopping the opposition parties from doing something similar.
Deepak, the section 126 of election commission talks of silence period when 48 hours before the polling concludes any kind of campaigning. Is Prime Minister going in his personal capacity? No. There will be a lot of bureaucracy involved. There will be state government involved. And let me assure you, the media would be queuing up to have snapshots of Prime Minister. Is Prime Minister going camera free for meditation? No. So this is the silence period when there's an absolute, blanket ban on influencing voters of any kind. Why could not Prime Minister did this meditation visit? Everyone respects his religious beliefs and his belief in meditation.
How do you correlate a meditation to campaigning? Dr. Tripathi, how do you correlate a meditation exercise to campaigning?
Deepak, he could have done it on 1st of June. Why choose 30th evening and be there till 1st and have a cavalcade of media, cavalcade of bureaucracy, cavalcade of police forces, security forces, because he's the Prime Minister of India. Also, as you just mentioned, obstructing the tourist vehicle for somewhere around 3 days. I want to advise Prime Minister through Mirror now that if he really wants to meditate, he should go to Sabarmati Ashram and he should read about Gandhiji. And when he said on an interview with a national television today that Gandhiji became famous because there was a film on it, I think he should rather skip Vivekananda Memorial, go to Sabarmati Ashram. A CM who has been there in the power for 20 years, brings out such a horrific fact about our father of nation, or whose memorials run across 84 countries, and who was nominated for Nobel Peace Prize for 5 years, and Prime Minister goes on to say he just became famous because of film. I think he should go to Sabarmati Ashram also. If he's going to Vivekananda Ashram, I think Vivekananda, when he gives the biggest teaching of Vivekananda was Jeev hi Shiv hai. So Vivekananda told rather than going to temples, you should help and service a poor, diseased, and a person in need. And when a poor person in a country spends, survives on 27 rupees a day, when there is a huge economic disparity, rather than tending to poor, diseased, and somebody in need, and that's not Vivekananda when he said Jeev Shiv. So these are few advices that I would like to give to Prime Minister. But yes, he should have gone on a very private visit, completely camera-free, completely isolated on 1st of June. Why choose a silence period 48 hours before the canvas? The last phase is the commencing. Why choose that silence period? You can go on for meditation on 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. You're free to go anytime. But this actually rakes controversy. This actually rakes up questions from the questions from the opposition, question from the everyone is justified, and we know Election Commission won't do anything. The way they have not given Prime Minister any kind of notice on his
Madhuvanti has been patiently listening to both of you all. I'm sure she has a lot of things to say, but I'll have her wait for some more time because I want to bring in Mr. Sumansi Raman as well. Mr. Raman, this is interesting. The Congress is saying, why doesn't he go without any cameras? How do you really view this from the point of view of the BJP? One, do you see it as a good strategy for them? Where it's a fine line, of course. So with the Prime Minister being there, it may serve as a PR exercise. It may, of course, serve as indirect campaigning without actually violating any of the rules that have been set forth. Or does it really fall in the purview of violation here? How do you really view this, Mr. Raman?
See, the Prime Minister, in my opinion, has violated the Model Code of Conduct multiple times during the course of this campaign with the speeches and with the hate speeches that have been made. So I think that if in comparison to that, this is a very, very minor breach of the electoral code. I don't think the election commission is only existing in name. So I don't expect them to do anything. At the most, they may send a notice and expect a reply after a few weeks or months or whatever. Meditation will happen, but this is very.
Okay.
I've never come across people meditating with so many cameras. Does it not sort of disturb your meditation to have so many cameramen and sound engineers and everyone around? It is a bit of a distraction, right? I mean, but it's amazing that somebody is actually able to meditate with so many people around. And I don't know whether this time there will be live telecast of the meditation also, for how long it would be there. All of these we'll have to wait for the national channels to tell us. But let's face it, this is a PR exercise. Everybody knows the Prime Minister loves to do such PR exercises. I remember he went to Kedarnath once on a similar quote-unquote meditation exercise. So I see no harm in it. I mean, he's entitled to rest after 2.5 months on the road in such a grueling campaign. Let him go and meditate. But I think also that the opposition parties should have made a much stronger protest for all the anti-Muslim speeches that were made, rather than for something like this, which is happening at the fag end of the election campaign, when for all practical purposes, voting is going to be over in 2 days. So I don't really see this as an issue which is going to have any impact. It's a PR exercise. Let him have a PR exercise. He's entitled to it. That's all.
And this sort of an opposition coming in probably highlights this. If it is a PR exercise, as you're saying, it highlights it even more. And it's working for the BJP. All the attention is being drawn towards it. So is the opposition's, counter here really being counterproductive is the question.
When you have effectively complete control over the media space, I don't see it too difficult to sort of control what narrative goes out. So, I mean, that way, I don't see this as, attention is being drawn to it. Attention is being drawn to it because there are half a dozen breathless national channels who have got, who spend the whole day finding out what, how many angles they can show the Prime Minister from. So I don't see this as, a naturally drawing attention thing. Attention is being focused on it because of the national media, which happens to be controlled by the BJP. That's very simple. So then you will have the agencies also trotting out minute to minute.
Now to bring in the media, Mr. Raman, it is unnecessary here to now bring in the media into this and say, the BJP first you're saying it's a PR exercise, you're saying it's a violation, then you're saying it's not, now you're saying media is being controlled. A lot of perspectives, of course. Let's have the BJP respond to most of them. Okay, I'll have the BJP respond to, there are many things that have been said, but before I go to the BJP, there is some more breaking inputs that's coming in from the state of Tamil Nadu and from Kerala is what I believe. Let's, put out that information immediately. Right now, we've been told that the DMK and the CPIM are fuming again over the Prime Minister's visit here. The CPIM has sought a ban on Prime Minister's visit and the coverage about the visit. That's what they're seeking a ban on. And the Kanyakumari DMK unit has also written to the DM there and also the returning officer. DMK has opposed Prime Minister Modi's meditation break. Prime Minister's visit is a violation of the MCC is what they have said. DMK has also said that the Prime Minister is indulging in personal PR. Meanwhile, CPIM here has also written to the Election Commission. My colleague Varshini has more details. Varshini, just earlier I said let's not speak about politics and speak about the Prime Minister's visit and the schedule. But it looks like, just there, one other update has now come in that from Kerala and in Tamil Nadu, there's a lot of stiff opposition coming to this particular visit.
Absolutely, yes, Deepak. There is several opposition that is arising at this point of time for the meditation event of the Prime Minister. First, we saw the Tamil Nadu Congress Committee releasing a statement about how they will approach the Election Commission of India to ban the meditation event. Then we are seeing the DMK's local units in Kanyakumari submitting a petition to the district collector as well as the returning officer to ban this event. This is all being stating the violation of Modi Code of Conduct that is in place with regards to the election. And now we are seeing that the Marxist Communist Party of India and the Tamil Nadu unit, Tamil Nadu State Secretary K. Balakrishnan, writing a letter to the Chief Election Commissioner of India, stating that the meditation that the Prime Minister is doing is a personal choice and they don't have to say much about it. But the coverage that the media would do on this event should be banned because, once again, it would be violating the Modi Code of Conduct. Therefore, there should be no coverage, is what the CPM is demanding at this point of time. Therefore, this is what we're able to pick up at this point of time, that all the parties that belong to the India Alliance in particular are showing their protest against the Prime Minister coming to Kanyakumari and conducting his meditation.
Right. Right, Varshini, thank you for the quick update. Madhuvanti, now time to respond. You've had three panelists, of course, put their perspective. We've just put out another piece of information of the CPI and the DMK now raising fresh objections. They're calling this a pseudo campaign. They're saying the Election Commission too should take cognizance.
Good evening, Deepak. Finally, thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. I thought I was going to be a mute spectator to three people going totally anti-Modi here. But thank you for finally letting me talk. Having said that, good evening to my fellow panelists also. And firstly, I don't see any problem in the Prime Minister doing what he's doing. And if the opposition is so worried about a camera-free environment, then they should have been worried even when the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu visited Kodaikanal on a holiday. He went on a personal holiday. Why were there cameras hovering around him? When he went to play golf, every third minute, the golf video was being projected on social media and on channels in Tamil Nadu. Nobody said anything then. He was also going on a personal visit with his family. There were enough cameras there. This is bound to happen when a head of state travels anywhere. Whether it is the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu or the Chief Minister of Karnataka or Uttar Pradesh, or more so the Prime Minister of this country, this is bound to happen. And the media goes behind people who go to jail. So obviously they are going to go to the Vivekananda Rock and cover it. I don't see what the problem is here. People show victory signs and go inside jail for hours of hour-long interrogation. And when they come out also, they show victory signs. And the media covers that also. So that is the media today. I don't think you can blame the media for covering the Prime Minister's visit to Vivekananda Rock. And this is something, it's his personal choice. Instead of going to a foreign country to relax, the Prime Minister of this country chooses to go to a spot inside India where he wants to meditate because he follows a karma yogic path.
But the timing is being questioned, Madhuvanti. Why not do it a day after, or probably in the evening when the polling ends? Is the question that some of them are asking.
Why should he do it a day after? Who has given you the right to question when he does it? Did anybody question any of the other leaders going anywhere on holidays or going out of country or going anywhere for that matter during the 7-phase long election? The Prime Minister is not going and meditating in Varanasi where the election is happening. He is coming all the way to Tamil Nadu where the election is over. I don't see a problem here. What is the problem here? People of the opposition are having huge insecurity problems. That is the problem here. If Modi ji sneezes, it's a problem. If Modi ji coughs, it's a problem. If Modi ji scratches his head, it's a problem. That's the whole problem here. Now they have to come out of their insecurities.
Okay, another thing I want you to also respond to, Madhuvanti. The TMC is saying, that they will not allow for, this footage to be aired in TV channels in West Bengal. We're looking at similar requests coming in from the DMK as well.
Anyway, the DMK in Tamil Nadu, the footage that is aired is always decided by you-know-who. So let them decide what footage wants to be aired where. Anyway, in social media, today is the day of the smartphone. Videos are going to be shot and aired across YouTube and across the internet. Nobody can stop that. If media channels don't want to air it or not air it, that is between the media channel and the respective state governments to decide. Why should I comment about it? It's not my problem. Anyway, whatever he does is going to come out into the foray of social media. What is the problem here? I don't see any problem. And since some advice was given by my learned friend from the Congress about where the Prime Minister should go and meditate in Sabarmati or wherever else, just a simple piece of advice back to the Congress. Now that the election is going to get over and they are so sure of winning the election, have they decided on their prime ministerial candidate? Let them worry about that first.
Okay, now I would like to ask Dr. Pooja Tripathi. There have been multiple campaigns that Mr. Rahul Gandhi has carried out, including 2 phases of the Bharat Jodo Yatra. There have been times, of course, where they have coincided with local body elections or assembly elections around the corner. Now, would you also call that pseudo campaigning?
Deepak, right now my fellow BJP panelist was questioning you. Who will decide that the Prime Minister should when go or when or not? Is the Representation of People's Act 1951, which imposes a silence period before 48 hours before campaigning, would decide when should Prime Minister go for his so-called PR meditation and when
Prime
not.
Minister is keeping quiet and only meditating. He's not meditating, giving a lecture. I'm sorry. Silence period. Meditation is
but
basically
what do the
done in
rules
silence,
really
just
say?
in case
Dr.
they didn't know.
Tripathi, what do the rules really say? Do the
Exactly.
rules say that you cannot go sit in a place and meditate because there's elections happening in a different state?
Exactly my
Is this
question
a form of
too.
campaigning? Do you see a BJP flag there? Because-
Direct or indirect influence.
okay.
Can you tell me, but one thing very honestly tell me, won't be media channels queuing up and lining up for every second detail of Prime Minister's so-called meditation? Won't Mirror not do it? I'm asking you a question. Won't you
So
be
you have to
vying for
question
the
that to
picture?
Mirror
It
now. Why
is,
are you
not the
questioning the
question
Prime
of what's
Minister?
being covered. The question is what the BJP is doing here. Let's stick to that. What the BJP is doing, tell us, how do you see it as a violation of the Model Code of Conduct in terms of rules? And if the same thing is done by any of the opposition parties, and also please answer, when the Bharat Jodo Yatra was happening at different legs and different stages, there was parallelly some elections happening. So would you call that pseudo campaigning as well? And at that point in time as well, media did cover the Bharat Jodo Yatra too. There was, and even if the mainstream media is not covering it, it's also being flooded on social media. So, when you talk about campaigning, it's just not, on media, on the television channels, there's also social media. There is various other platforms, there's digital media.
He's a Prime Minister of the country. What I'm saying, he would be influencing all the security, state government, bureaucracy, police forces, media, social media, everything. You'll have minute-wise updates of what he had for breakfast, how many hours of meditation he took, how many breaks he said. And that's when we are saying this is the silence period.
Dr. Tripathi, you're still not answering. You're still not answering about the Bharat Jodo aspect that I asked you. How do you draw a parallel to that?
About the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Bharat Jodo Yatra started when there was no elections anywhere in the country. Can you name me one election that was happening in the country? Even the Panchayat elections, no. Bharat Jodo 2 ended up in March before the Election Commission brought out the schedule of the elections. So how can you say we influenced Bharat Jodo Yatra? Bharat Jodo Yatra was a non-political outreach campaign of Congress, and that's what we are saying. You could have gone.
You're saying that is non-political. You're saying that is non-political, but you're saying meditation is political. Okay. Okay, Dr. Syed Hafiz, the BJP said that there were cameras. Dr. Syed Hafiz, the BJP said that there were cameras even when Stalin went on a personal trip while he was playing golf. He was, there were cameras all around. Social media was flooded with, all about his visits, and this was personal in nature as well. So why an issue with the camera that the Prime Minister is carrying with him for a meditation?
No. The difference is that Prime Minister Modi is carrying a camera with him when he is coming to Kanyakumari. With my Chief Minister, the cameras went with their interest. I'm telling you, can Madhuvanti acknowledge the fact? Is she going to promise me
know that the cameras went on their own walking to Kodaikanal, but the cameras here, the Prime Minister himself is carrying in a sling bag and coming to Kanyakumari. I'm so sorry, I didn't know that.
Voting was
Madam,
over.
I thought you will be. I thought you maintain some discipline by not interrupting in my time. I kept patiently listening to you for 4 minutes. You spoke.
So
I
did
expect that from you too.
Madhuvanti, let him speak.
First round. So did I.
Let us have discipline. Yeah. So now you are interrupting me. What does that show?
Madhuvanti, you can respond. Let Mr. Hafiz speak. Let's not speak over each other. Let everyone make their point. You can counter it. You can counter it. Go ahead, Mr. Hafiz.
Yeah. See,
Mr. Hafiz, go ahead. No personal remarks, please. Go ahead.
A PR team goes, fixes the camera first, and they instead Prime Minister sits so that the angle is clear. Was that something like that happened with the Chief Minister? That is the problem. And here, it is habitual of the Prime Minister to invoke personal matters, religious matters into politics. His entire campaign was surrounded by a way of polarization. We don't have an issue with his personal belief, meditation. We welcome Prime Minister. But what is that? He does it only on the in between 5 years. There's no need of meditation for the Prime Minister. Why is he not thinking about God? Why is he not, in search of God when there are no elections? When there is a last phase of election happening, he is reminded of God. He goes to the God. He goes to pray. This is what has to be questioned, to establish himself as a Vishwaguru, a leader. As he said that he is not a biological kid, he has a direct connection with God.
But
Dr.
Dr. Syed Hafiz, where is the point of establishing anybody anytime when it's the last day? When there have been 7 phases of these elections, according to the India bloc, they are coming to power. The Prime Minister's, this is his retirement and the start of his retirement. These are the statements that's coming in from the India bloc leader. So why this worry of however he tries to portray himself towards the end? If you're saying that this is the start of his retirement, then why is there such a problem?
No, if that is the issue.
No, the question that I'm asking you, I mean, on one hand, it's your own leaders, Dr. Hafiz. Dr. Hafiz, it's your own leaders who are saying this is the start of his retirement, so let him start it. Why is there a state of panic almost?
No, there has to be a dissent in democracy. As I said, it is not about Modi, it is not about XYZ, it is about institutional independence, it is about democratic values, and it is about having a fair and free election. By protesting this, we want to establish the fact that the election commission had been one-sided. It acted in favor of one particular person and one particular party, which will erode the constitutional value. So that protest has to be there in democracy. Just because we are winning comfortably, we cannot turn a blind eye to violation of all ethics of politics that the India had for 70-75 years. So just because we are winning, it is okay for the Prime Minister to violate. It is okay for Prime Minister to polarize the voters. It is okay for...
So you're saying this is a clear-cut violation despite the BJP saying, well, he's not saying a word here. So how are you calling this violation? He's not meditating in a state which are going into polls. So how is this violation? These are the questions that's being asked, Mr. Raman.
Okay. So what do we do? Is it... No, one quick minute. Is it okay?
Okay, let Mr. Raman come in. Let Mr. Raman come in. Hold on.
Prime Minister on a newspaper.
Dr. Raman has been patiently listening. Dr. Hafiz, let him also come in. Let him make a point. I'm sure the point he makes will be in line with what you are saying as well.
No, I have a point, and my point is, are divine beings subject to the same set of rules and regulations that all of us are? So, can the opposition actually ask for saying that this is a violation? Because violations apply to humans, no? So when somebody claims to be a divine being, does that give them exemption from the model code? I'm trying to understand this whole thing because I don't understand it. I think the Prime Minister is entitled to take rest wherever he wants to, meditate wherever he wants to. There is no problem there. The problem comes when you have a 24/7 media coverage, which you have continued to have for the last 2 months. Having said that, I think the opposition can, having ignored far bigger breaches of the election code of conduct over the last 2 months, I find it strange that the opposition should choose to make such a big fuss at this stage when the elections are almost over. And I don't basically believe that this is going to add any have any major impact on people's voting decisions just because the Prime Minister is going and meditating.
Well, once again, the questions are being... Mr. Raman believes that, it's not going to have an impact on the voters. Some of them believe that it's a violation. If you believe on one hand, Mr. Raman, that it's not going to be an impact on the voters at all, then where is the question of the violation? Now, of course, the CPIM has written to the Election Commission, the DMK has written, the TMC has written. Let's, of course, see also...
Violation is a violation. Whether it has an impact on the voter or not.
So you're saying this is a violation?
Whether it will have an impact on the voter, we will know only on 4th of June. That doesn't mean it's not a violation. It's a violation.
Okay, you're calling it a violation. The BJP says that it's not. Final quick comment here, Madhuvanti, because I'll have to, wrap up this debate.
I don't see any violation. I see only confusion amongst my fellow panelists because they really start with a point and then they go into some other point. I see a lot of desperation and frustration here. So let's all wait until June 4th and then BJP will talk about jubilation. Thank you.
Well, thanking all our panelists. It's going to be interesting. The Prime Minister, of course, is all set to visit Kanyakumari tomorrow, and he will be there for at least about 24 hours and a little more than that. We'll keep you updated about the politics that's going to play out. Right now, many of them, of course, from the opposition believe it's a serious violation. The Election Commission shouldn't allow it. The BJP says, well, he's just meditating. It is not in an election-bound state. So why is there a cause of concern? Is it insecurity? Let's see how this political slugfest really plays out over the next 24 to 48 hours. With that, I'm thanking all our panelists, of course, for joining us today.